share some Bhakti poems with you tonight. Bhakti poetry, of course, being part of this great legacy of sacred devotional poetry of the Indian subcontinent. But the one thing I want to say before reading these three poems is that for many people, as soon as you mention the word sacred, it evokes a whole welter of associations. People assume often that talking about the sacred means assuming an expression of fake piety or fake humility or fake something, or else if it doesn't mean being servile, that it often means being the kind of person who talks of celestial light and cosmic energy and that sort of thing. The wonderful thing about Bhakti poetry is that it is bracing and invigorating and unconventional and non-hierarchical, but above all, the fact that it is often funny. This is poetry that's uncomfortable with posturing of any kind. So the two poems I'd like to start with are just straightforward, playful poems. And I particularly want to read them because they're for me a reminder of the fact that any spiritual journey is really a journey about, above all, being real. And perhaps no one does it as well as Tukaram in this poem. Tukaram is the 17th century Marathi mystic, translated here by Dilip Chitre. And the same Tukaram who speaks to his personal God Vitthala with great love is also capable of saying this. The whole transaction, he tells his God, the whole transaction is a fraud. I will have nothing more to do with you. You do not operate under one name. You have thousands of aliases. When one tries to seek your true identity, you begin to play hide and seek. Says Tuka, you are full of mischief. Finally, I have found out your true character, O Lord. You trick me into serving you. Mind you, though my difficulties are only a burden for you and all these saints, for you made me eloquent only to praise yourself. Now come out with some real proof. Look, I'm a grocer by profession. You can't cheat me at a bargain. Says Tuka, how do you expect me to dance in ecstasy before experiencing you? And another wonderful poem is another one of my favorites, is by Annamacharya, the Telugu poet, translated here by V. Narayana Rao and David Shulman. And the wonderful thing about this poem is that it reminds you of the fact that Bhakti is really about a relationship of mutuality between seeker and the divine. It's a relationship that allows you to adopt any tone whatsoever. Nothing is sacrilegious, because the underlying premise is that you and your God need each other with equal urgency. The union is just a matter of time, and the devotee here knows he is as important to his God as his God is to him. And of course, it's yet another funny poem in the Bhakti tradition. Imagine that I wasn't here. What would you do with your kindness? You get a good name because of me. I'm number one among idiots, a huge mountain of ego, rich in weakness, in giving in to my senses. You're lucky you found me. Try not to lose me. Imagine that I wasn't here. I'm the emperor of confusion, of life and death, listed in the book of bad karma. I wallow in births and womb after womb. Even if you try, could you find another like me? Imagine that I wasn't here. Think it over. By saving someone so low, you win praise all over the world. You get merit from me, and I get life out of you. We are right for each other, God on the hill. Imagine that I wasn't here. And I'd like to conclude with Tukaram again. And I'm choosing now to read a different kind of poem because while humor has helped me a great deal in these past few weeks, what also helps me is this kind of poem. In fact, this is one of the Tukaram poems that I return to very often. It's the kind of deep consolation poem for me that works. It's not trite consolation. It seems to be born of a truly authentic experience, translated yet again by Dilip Chitre. When he comes out of the blue, a meteorite shattering your home, be sure God is visiting you. When a catastrophe wipes you out and nothing remains but God and you, God is visiting you. When your language is stripped naked, never to be clothed in falsehood again, God is visiting you. When your humanness is rent and riven, never to be pieced together again, be sure God is visiting you. When you are beyond all hope, when you can call nothing your own, be sure God is visiting you. When you are robbed of the whole world and your voice becomes eloquent, be sure God is visiting you. See how God has grabbed all of him. Tuka is now raging like God himself. To me, this is a poem to return to, particularly in these times of unease. And with that, I'd like to wish you all good night and to say thank you. Thank you for joining me in celebrating some of these wonderful poets of sacred poetry, to which we are all heir in this subcontinent.